Law of Motion, Sir Isaac Newton, by teacher Lesllie and Sumiran. Who was Sir Isaac Newton? Look at the picture. Sir Isaac Newton, born in 1643, was one of the most influential scientists of all time, expanding upon the ideas of previous prolific scientists like Galileo and Aristotle. He was able to turn theories into practice, and his ideas became the basis for modern physics. Again, he is Sir Isaac Newton. Newton developed his laws of motion in 1666 when he was only 23 years old. In 1687, he presented the laws in his seminal work Principia Mathematica, which he explained how outside forces affect the movement of objects. In developing his three laws, Newton simplified objects, reducing them to mathematical points without size or rotation to let him ignore factors such as friction, air resistance, temperature, and material properties, and focus on outcomes that can be illustrated wholly with reference to mass, length, and time. Newton's laws refer to the motion of objects in an inertial reference frame, which can be described as a system in which an object remains at rest or moves with constant linear velocity unless acted upon by external forces. Newton found that movement within such a system could be expressed using three simple laws. Newton's three laws of motion. Let's start with the first one. Number one, Newton's first law of motion. Focus also on the picture while I'm reading the description. A body at rest will remain at rest, and a body in motion will remain in motion unless it is acted upon an external force. If object is stationary, it will not begin to move by itself. If an object is moving, its speed and direction won't change unless something makes it change. This is often referred to as the law of inertia. First law of motion by Newton is Newton's first law of motion, law of inertia. Look at the picture. That is one example of law of inertia. Number two, Newton's second law of motion. The force acting on an object is usual or is equal to the mass of that object times its acceleration. Objects will move farther and faster when they are pushed harder, and heavier objects need more force to move the same distance as lighter objects. We have one example from the picture. Number two, Newton's second law of motion. Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When an object is pushed in one direction, there is always an equal resistance from the opposition direction. This law can be used to explain how a rocket works. Its powerful engines push down on the ground, and the resistance from the ground pushes the rocket upwards with an equal force. Again, we have another picture that shows the third law of motion by Newton. Whenever one object exerts a force on the second object exerts an equal and opposite force on the first. The action in this picture is the rocket power being applied down, the reaction in the air pushing on the rocket. The reaction moves the rocket upward. So that's it. This is teacher Lesllie. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.